Hi, it's Amy with Mama Bear Blue. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when I have new videos uploading. So I stopped by the Goodwill a couple weeks ago and picked up a stool and a small plant stand that were in pretty good shape so that I can make them over using DIY paint as a base coat and Sweet Pickins milk paint on top. You're going to see how well they pair together. You're also going to see how milk paint can be just a little bit unpredictable in the level of chippiness that you get. You'll see one project turned out fairly chippy and the other not so much. Let's get started. I start with this plant stand and I gave it a nice sand with my sander. The top was just a little bit chippy. The varnish was starting to come off in certain spots, so I thought it would be best just to go ahead and sand that smooth. Here I'm putting on a base coat of DIY Paint's Weathered Wood. DIY Paint is an all-natural clay-based paint. It's highly pigmented and it provides great coverage. When it's dry, it has a chalky finish and it will be much lighter than the color that came out of the can. But once you seal it, it will go back to its original beautiful color. The plant stand had lost its screw hole covers, so I was sure to tighten up the legs. And then I wanted to cover those holes with something pretty, so I used the Iron Orchid Designs mold called He Loves Me, as well as Iron Orchid Designs air dry clay, and made some little covers for those holes. Again, I did make sure that those legs were nice and tight before I did this. After I glued them on with my Titebond Quick and Thick glue, I went ahead and put a coat of weathered wood on these as well. For the top layer, I decided to use Sweet Pickins milk paint in the color Corabelle. It's a really pretty coral pink color, great for spring. I used warm water and poured in the powder and mixed it well with a plastic fork until it was the consistency of a melted milkshake. You can see there was some chunks left, like right there. That's because I used the plastic fork and I don't mind that look. I actually wanted it to be chippy, so I planned on sanding those off. If you would like a more smooth finish, be sure to use an immersion blender to get those powdered chunks out of the milk paint. I applied 2 coats of the Sweet Pickins milk paint and then used a sanding pad to start the sanding process. As you can see, this plant stand was very chippy. You could see through to the layer of the weathered wood and even down to the actual original wood layer in some areas. I will show you the final reveal on this plant stand in just a minute. Next, I got started on the stool. I didn't need to do much sanding other than the edge was just a little rough, kind of splintery, so I just took a 220 grit sandpaper and sanded that down a bit. These screw holes were showing. I wanted to cover those, so I decided to use some wood filler putty. This is the kind that starts pink and turns white when it's ready to sand. For this project, I'm using a base coat of DIY Paint's bead board, and then 2 coats of the Corabelle milk paint. As you can see, this one didn't turn out quite as chippy. Milk paint can be a bit unpredictable in that respect, and that's what I love about it. If you don't want your project to be as chippy, you can use a product called Extra Bond that Sweet Pickins sells. It's available on my website along with all the other products you saw me use here today at mamabearblue.com. Here I'm just wiping off the sanding dust and getting ready to apply the finish. I chose DIY Paint's clear wax for both projects. And then on the stool, I decided to apply a coat of DIY white wax on top of the clear wax. Whenever you are using a colored wax, be sure to clear wax first. I wipe back the excess with a clean cloth. After 24 hours, you can buff the wax if you want it to have a slight sheen.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment below. If you have any questions, put those below as well. And as always, if you're interested in more furniture flipping and thrifting and crafting and DIYs, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.